So my manager calls me into the office to ask me if I need a mediator to help me with Jim. Now, me and Jim do not have a problem, so this was a little confusing. I find out later that HR had called him into the office to ask him the same question about me. Apparently, we had completely forgotten about our incident, but everybody else was still riled up. Now you have to understand, Jim is your typical Italian from Boston. Loud, boisterous, hard-headed, and a little bit of a lunatic. Right? We had a new employee come into his group, and the new employee managed to convince him that he was wrong about a solution he had developed for the file naming system. Now, this is computer stuff. You don't need to worry about computer stuff. Well, all you really need to know is that it was an elegant solution. It just couldn't be communicated very easily. Jim walks into my office, looks at me, and says, "I made a mistake." I look at him and I say, "No, you didn't." Next thing you know, the hell-raising began. Both of us started yelling at each other, writing on the whiteboard, passing the pen back and forth. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Getting louder and louder and louder until everyone in the office came out to find out what's going on. Eventually, I said the right thing, and he looked at the board. He looked at me. "You're right." "Thank you." And he walked out of the office, completely forgot about it. See, Jim was my work buddy, my confidant, and to tell you the truth, my work husband. Yeah, of course, we never really quite went to that place. Things started getting weird for us when he separated from his wife and then he divorced her. And he started making noises about maybe getting together with me. Even telling the video camera guy, we were shooting a video for work, that when he dreams of me. Now, to tell you the truth, I would have been open to it, but there were some things that gave me pause. The first thing is that he was 16 years my junior. And he's like, "Karen, is this really a big deal?" And, it shouldn't be. We're both adults, but it is something to think about, right? Second, he hadn't had any kids yet. And I was too old to be carrying any. And I knew one day his baby timer would go off and he would want them. Which, of course, is exactly what happened. Someone at our work got pregnant and he got all excited. Was even there for the birth, taking pictures. I have no idea what her husband thought of it. And third, I tested him from time to time just to see where he was mentally. I'd ask him questions like, "If your ex-wife wanted to come home, would she be welcome?" And he never had to think about it. He always said yes. I'm not an idiot to fall for someone who's still in love with their ex-wife. Plus, they were married. If they could figure it out, let them get back together. Did I want to be with him? Deep down inside, yes. But I'm old enough to be able to love someone and want what's best for them, even if it's not me. I didn't need to have him, if you know what I mean. I was happy to be his friend. Then COVID came. And here I am, a single woman living by myself without even an animal. And it really messed me up bad. And, he was there for me. He got me. Until the day he didn't. Just one day he disappeared. Oh yeah, he was at the Zoom meetings, but he wasn't talking to me anymore. I couldn't pin him down. My friend of multiple years had suddenly ghosted me, and I didn't even know why. And it was really hard, especially during COVID. It was actually one of the more traumatic things that happened to me during COVID. My lifeline was gone. I finally pinned him down, and he said he was too emotionally attached to me. I told him, it is possible to just be friends, despite what everybody thinks. And he agreed, but I knew that it was over. Not long after that, I find out that he had gotten married. He had a kid on the way. It was almost due. He hadn't told anybody. Isn't that weird? And I had met her. And I didn't understand, something I was just wondering was, how on earth did this happen in the first place? She wasn't even close to what his type was, which is basically a crazy creative redhead. He's been married like 3 times, all right? All crazy creative redheads. And sometimes I wonder, if I hadn't been so careful with him, if I had gotten involved with him, what would have happened? And sometimes I think that I dodged a bullet. Youngsters. But if we were at the same company now, and my manager came to me and asked me, Karen, do you need a mediator to talk to Jim? I would say yes, if only to yell at him one more time. Thank you. Mm-hmm.